Okay, the people who laughed are over 40. I didn't have to post stories on Facebook. I never had to deal with that term, fake news. I mean, I was in TV for a long time. I started when TV news stories were shot on silent film. For those of you under 30, film is something that has to be developed with chemicals, and it takes a while to develop, and when it's done, the quality is nowhere near as good as what you can get on your phone. So that was fun. Anyway, I've been around a long time, and if you're in the news media, you know you're going to get criticized. That comes with the territory. But to have people call you fake because they don't agree with you or what you said, or the fact that you gave both sides of the story, that must be hard. So if you're still fighting the good fight, congratulations to all of you. And if you're here tonight, you probably won an award, so you really deserve this. There are so many different media outlets here tonight, from newspapers and radio, TV, magazines, newspapers, and I have to say it's been great fun seeing some old friends, some of them very old friends, and meeting new ones as well. And it's been quite a year. No fake news here. And journalism is in good hands, and I know all of you are working hard to get the story and to get it right, and that's why you're here, and that's why you are necessary. Now, there's also time for play too, right? We had 8 different wineries here tonight, so I expect all of you are nice and relaxed and loose and looking forward to a good program. We also asked you to check out your vacation photos. Another thing about retirement, I can take vacations in February, May, July, and November, all the sweeps months. I don't have to just limit my vacations to other times of the year. It's liberating beyond belief. Anyway, check out the screen, and you will see pictures of tonight's winners enjoying themselves on vacation. Well-deserved vacations, by the way. So let's talk about the format of tonight's awards. Everyone has a lanyard and a name badge. Check out the badges, and you can see who's won first, second, and third place awards. And in many of you, you won one or a couple of each. If you haven't done so yet, congratulate whoever's sitting next to you, okay? Congratulations. Good work. Well done. And now pat yourself on the back. Congratulations to all the winners. Yeah, absolutely. We had, by the way, a record number of entries this year, so if you're a winner, you have really impressed the judges. And speaking of impressive, how about the food and drink tonight, huh? Is that awesome? So we want to give a big thanks to all the restaurants, chefs, and beer and wine companies that donated the amazing food and drinks. And if you visit their establishments, let them know that you're with the Press Club. It helps to maybe get them to come back next year. Now how about a round of applause for all these great restaurants and wineries, right? And everybody I talked to had a different favorite, which means there was a great diversity of food, and it was all terrific place that I tried. We'd also like to thank our sponsors, Cox, Millennia, Trevi Hills Vineyard, and Fine Homes, and of course the home of the San Diego Press Club, the historic Spreckles Building. Also like to thank the band. Mulligan Stew has been with us for several years. Well, they're gone now, but give them thanks anyway. We'd also like to thank Invite Fairies. How many events have you been to where there were winged fairies wandering amongst you, huh? That just doesn't happen often, especially in our business. So we would like to thank them for the, and Wild Orchid Florists also for the beautiful centerpieces on your tables. All right. Let's congratulate the winners. Would everyone who won a third place award tonight, please stand. All right, how about the second place winners stand up? Now the first place winners stand up. There are a lot of people that stood up all 3 times there. That's impressive. So congratulations to all of the winners. If you came in first, second, or third, you should be proud. Winning a Press Club award is quite an accomplishment, it really is. Don't forget to share tonight's memories on social media. Oh, that's stuff I didn't used to have to do, right? Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at SD Press Club, and use the hashtag, or pound sign if you're old school, the hashtag JAwards2017. All right, so we found out who the winners, first and second and third place were. Now it's time to announce the winners of the special awards and the winners of the best of show. For instance, all of the first place winners in the magazine categories competed against each other, and the judges decided the best of show in magazines was called What the U.S. Presidential Candidates Are Missing in the Immigration Debate by Carl Nettleton in Fortune magazine. Just to hear what the judges were impressed by, they said a powerful reminder that forces that would seem not related to each other are inextricably connected. Nettleton meticulously makes the case that drought and food instability, likely exacerbated by climate change, is a root cause of the rise of groups like ISIS and the influx of Middle East immigrants, both in the U.S. and in Europe. Let's have winners come up and accept their prizes. Well, Carl isn't here tonight. Maggie will hold on to his award. Or maybe I'll keep it. Like I said, it'd be nice to have a first place award. Tonight isn't just a nice party, it's also the annual meeting of the Board of Directors of the San Diego Press Club. A month or so ago, Press Club members, many of you, received a link to vote online. 6 seats on the board were up for election, and we now have some new names on the Board of Directors, including Eileen Gaffin, who I worked with many years ago at Channel 8, Maite Rodriguez-Cedillo, and Jenna Rossman. I think the applause was evaluated. It was good. In just a minute, you will vote again to elect a new president to serve for the coming year. To do that, please welcome your current president for a few more minutes anyway, Pauline Rappard.
Immediate past president, and I refused to wear it for another half hour. I am Pauline Rappard, the 2017 San Diego Press Club president. Welcome all. Our club board of directors and executive director Terry Williams worked hard all year to prepare this evening. As Hal has already said, we're busy inviting the restaurants and wineries and breweries, running the contest and setting up this venue for 400 some folks. And Hal thanked, I think, everyone who's part of this production, except I'm not sure if he got to the Southwestern College students who really labored hard to pull this all together. In our past year, the Press Club has presented some highly informative panel discussion on Black and LGBT issues, resume writing, and fake news. We've joined other press clubs at Social Mixers, offered a behind-the-scenes tour of the San Diego Police Dispatch Center, and the Honorary Committee had a great time at a reception at the Balboa Park Carousel. So if you missed any of those events, I encourage you to watch for our Foghorn newsletter and make sure you participate in some of the good things we've got going or will have planned for 2018. Now I want to introduce to you Terry Williams, our executive director, who has a few words before we conduct some of our brief but vital business, which is the orderly succession of our club government. We've had no hacked emails, no 3 a.m. tweets, no fake news, and no motorized lecterns, but I would have really liked to have had that motorized lectern. Here's Terry.
Thanks, Pauline. I've said this a lot of times before, that every year with the change of presidents, I get a new best friend. Sorry, but, and Pauline is no exception. She's a strong, warm, and dependable friend who every once in a while, and when I need it most of all, simply cracks me up. You know the club is entering its 45th year, And of those 45 years, I've been the executive director for a third of that time. My husband pointed that out to me, I went, whoa. I've talked also before about the strength and the depth of the San Diego Press Club Board of Directors. It's gratifying to know that I can depend on your talents, brilliance, and generosity, and that being a member of this board is an important part to you also. Thanks to them, and especially this committee for making it happen once again, making all this happen once again. Thanks to the staff from the Kitchen for Good here at Jacobs Center. If you don't know what their remarkable story is here, you should just ask Tommy Gomes. He knows all about it. Well, I'm just full of facts tonight. Yesterday, in the last-minute preparation for tonight, I walked 2.5 miles. Big deal, you say, for all you 10,000 steppers? Except for walking across the street to the post office, all the rest of that walking was in the office. Around and back and forth in 800 square feet. Also in the news from yesterday, my husband got deported. Since he's a Nevada resident, he kindly drove to Tecate to pick up the wine for one of our suppliers tonight. He crossed north. As he crossed north, instead of saying, "Why, yes, officer, I bought this wine, it's for my own personal use, and I'm taking it to Nevada," he said, "Yes, officer, this wine was donated, and I'm bringing it to my wife's event tomorrow." Zoop, he went straight back to Tecate. So that's a lesson. If you live out of California, you can bring wine out of Tecate or Mexico, but you have to take it through California all the way home. So, but we worked it out, right? But it all worked out. And this, as this evening always does. And tonight, as we have done for 44 years, we celebrate the excellence and the power that is the San Diego Press Club. All of us whose lives and careers course through this community and connect here tonight know about that power. The club has come a very long way from its hard-charging origins, but some things have not changed at all. Here from the original bylaws in 1973, the club's objectives are to promote social enjoyment among its members, to cultivate professional advancement, and to encourage friendly communication among members. Today as then, we are all about helping each other succeed, to grow in our businesses and careers, and to having fun and celebrating together. And that's what tonight is, the culmination of nearly 45 years of friendship, hard work, and lots of fun. So let's just keep doing it.
Next thing is that I have a little something for Terry to show our gratitude and thanks for all that you've done. Of course, this is from the board. And it's way too heavy for us to carry it away for you, so we'll have to figure out something.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Please meet and welcome the 2017-2018 President of the San Diego Press Club, Kristen Castillo.
Thank you, Polly. I'll let you leave your badge on. How's that sound?
Another minute.
An award. To Pauline. Thank you. You've been a wonderful president. Thank you Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. I'm really honored to be with all of you. More than ever, as we've learned in the past year, it's important to trust in media and believe in the free press. Am I right? You have to believe, and everyone in this room, we all have really great intentions. We're doing noble work. And that's why the Press Club is more important than ever. We need to continue great journalism. And since it was founded in 1973, the Press Club has been all about integrity for all of our profession. And during the highs and the lows, we we stick together, and we want to continue sticking together in this good fight. Now, I've been a member for the Press Club for over a decade, and I'm honored to serve as your new president. So thank you for having me. The Press Club has over 400 members, and I would invite you to join us as we learn together, hone our craft, network, and make really great friends. And on a personal note, I'd like to thank my husband and my family for supporting me in doing all of this activity for this club. I really do believe in it, and I'm appreciative of the opportunity. And then JW, I don't know where he is in the room. Okay, JW is my forever mentor, my favorite boss. I will never have a better boss. He taught me a lot about journalism, and almost everywhere I go, everyone here says, oh, I know JW. So thank you, JW. You have inspired me. And speaking of inspiring, we mentioned before emeritus. We've got a couple people who were great leaders in the Press Club, and we really can't let them go. And we had kind of mentioned that. And Gail, right up front, she's one of those people. Now, Gail has been on our board for over 30 years. She's only 31. Is that okay? I didn't mean to give up your age. So she has given back to so much to us. So we want to honor Gail and Barbara Metz, who are two longtime board members. Now, as I mentioned, Gail has been on for 30 years. She's the president of the Falcon Valley Group, a public relations firm here in San Diego. She's an adjunct professor at the School of Communication and Media Studies at San Diego State. Now, where's Barbara Metz? There she is. Everybody wave. Hi, Barbara. So Barbara Metz also has emeritus status. She has over 20 years on our board and is the president, a former president. She's also chaired our Headliner Awards and these very journalism awards. She started something called the Honorary Committee that has raised $42,000. Now that helps all of our students. And that was $42,000 starting in 2009. And she is with Metz Public Relations, and we salute you ladies if you want to come on up here. We salute you, and again, as emeritus, they're no longer on our board, but their distinguished status with us, we want to thank them, and we know that they're advisors we can always count on. So we've got some plaques thanking them for their dedication. Turn things back to Hal. Thank you again, Hal, for coming out of retirement for the Press Club. We really appreciate you.
Thank you, Kristen. I was told J.W. August would not be recognized tonight. Sorry, I guess I was misled. Anyway, I want to congratulate Kristen and all the new board members. Obviously, the Press Club is in great hands, and it'll get even better if you all get involved. Go to the programs, volunteer for the committees, interact with us on social media. You know the thing with the hashtags and stuff. Let's give out another award now. Of all the online daily newspaper categories, the Best of Show winner is called Data Teachers' Allegations Undermine Gumper's College-Ready Promise by Brandon Quester and Brad Racino from inewssource.org. So here to make the scholarship presentation are Reed Carroll, board member emeritus, and Sally Hickson, who is the club treasurer.
Scholarship Foundation was founded in 1989, and at that time our annual award amounted to something like $200. And we were really scrabbling to find money for that. Over the years, we've done some very good things in that area. It's well funded now due to a number of things. People have worked and volunteered. And the major award that we give is the Joe Liber Award. I had the pleasure of working with Joe Liber for over a dozen years. He was one of the people who helped us with the Headliners Bankers. And he found ways of raising money for that organization, and it lasted from 1973 to 2005. Now the organization's chief fundraiser is right here where you're sitting, this event. And thank you all for supporting it. Very briefly, Joe Lipper was a remarkable man. He started out, well, first he was a soldier in World War II, U.S. Army. Went to Rochester University, got a degree there in 1947, and went to Stanford to get his journalism degree. Then he went into public relations and he wound up with Aerojet General. And Joe Lipper is not a name you would know, but he was the guy who directed all of the international media coverage of the Apollo moonshot. How's that for moving up in the company? Joe Lipper was a humble, hard-working man of great integrity. So the award that is given to one of our students, they will live up to that award, I'm sure they will. And the one thing I want to mention is I was inspired by an unusual teacher who was, in those days, a rebel. The gentleman who is responsible for two of the ladies here today is not just an instructor, he's a motivator, he is an inspirational person. Over the years, we've had more winners from Point Loma Nazarene University than any place else. Dean Nelson, God love him, he's a heck of a guy.
So what we do is we have the Joe Lipper Award, and this year the winner of the Joe Lipper Award, Umbretta DiDio. So she gets money, and you have a little duty here. You get to do a little award yourself. You're going to stick around for that. Again, Umbretta DiDio. We have one other award, a scholarship recipient this year, and let me tell you a little bit about her. Her name is Natalie Rocha. She and her dad corrected me on that. She was first interested in journalism at Carlsbad High, where she was editor-in-chief of her paper. After attending a national journalism conference her senior year, she knew that would be her chosen profession. She writes for The Point at PLNU, the only freshman on staff. She got the position on the paper after attending the presidential inauguration this year with our favorite guy, President Trump. While there, she was able to speak to professional journalists to get their perspective of the inauguration, protests, and Women's March. One of her goals, you'll appreciate this, Suzanne, is she would eventually like to work for NPR. I like that too, being at KPBS, that's okay. But she says, whether I end up working in Washington, D.C., or at the NPR headquarters, or setting roots in San Diego, the bedrock of my job as a journalist is to synthesize the ideas of the people around me and echo the voices of the community. Please join me in congratulating Natalie Rocha. And you get to do this part. So Hal, do they do their thing now? All right, Umbretta, you can go first.
The winner of the Best College Newspaper is the Daily Aztec from San Diego State University. The judges said the Daily Aztec takes top honors for its overall quality in reporting, with a good mix of solid news, arts reporting, opinion, sports, and politics. Straightforward graphics and layout bring a professional, clean look to the paper.
A little bit of snafu here. We have the same thing, so they both are presenting the same award. So please congratulate the winners of that award. Now they can read it again if you like, but
you and congratulations. I'm just curious, how many people here wrote for the Daily Aztec at one point or another? Okay. All right, so we have a small share of this award, right? When I wrote for it, it was carved in stone tablets, but still. It's wonderful. Did you know the Press Club was born in 1973 in what is now known as Dobson's? Back then it was the Press Room Bar, go figure. And that's where Andy Mace and his friends came up with an idea for the Press Club. Andy, you probably know him or know the name. He worked for Pacific Bell as the head of public relations. I mean, a real leader and pioneer in the PR business. And so the Press Club Award honoring the career achievements of public relations professionals is named after Mace, who was in fact the first recipient of the award. This year's Andy Mace Award for Outstanding Contribution in Public Relations goes to Rick Griffin.
Chris Jeremiah at Times of San Diego, and it's really my honor to work with Rick. You know, he is one of the public relations people that everybody in the news community appreciates. I know I do. He's got great ideas for stories. He's got great tips for weekend events. But most importantly, he writes the ever-popular Market Inc. column that appears every Monday in Times of San Diego. If you want to stay on top of what's happening in the advertising, public relations, digital media community, you got to read that column. Now, it was my press club colleague, Lynn Friedman, who nominated Rick for this award. And let me read exactly what she wrote in her nomination. Rick Griffin epitomizes the attributes of fairness and integrity and effectively disseminates the truth to the concerned publics that the Andy Mace Award seeks to honor. His reputation for personal integrity is impeccable, and his track record of success in marketing is remarkable. He is a skilled communicator who has a good reputation among the news media. Rick is highly intelligent and has good analytical and communication skills. I strongly recommend that the San Diego Press Club honor him with this year's award. So, please join me in honoring Rick with this award.
I'm very honored and humbled for this award. There are a couple of people that I need to thank and acknowledge. First, thanks to the Lord God who created all of us and made us with the skills and abilities to do our jobs. Also, thanks to my wife who puts up with me with my job. Also, our two kids and their spouses. Thanks to the friends in the news media who help us do our jobs especially. And thanks to my colleagues, the past recipients of this award who voted for me and allowed me to have it. And to our PR colleagues in our industry for their outstanding examples of professionalism. Thanks to a couple of clients who are here who give us the opportunity to do our jobs. A couple of them are here this evening, Michael Schwartz and Rich Israel. Thanks guys for being here. And finally, I just want to mention a couple of my mentors, my career coaches, some of whom I have to admit were at times the meanest people in the world. But they pushed me and helped me to do a better job, and I'm grateful for that. So thanks to David Robinson, who took a chance and hired me at Winters, Franceschi, and Callahan. Thanks to former Evening Tribune managing editor Mike Walker, and Rosemont College president Sonny Cook, and Alan Shaw, and the late Jerry Wilson of Copley Publishing. I'm very grateful. This means a lot. Thanks very much.
I can testify to Rick's attention to detail. When Bill Griffith retired from Channel 10, Rick called me and said, I'm trying to figure out who was on TV longer, you or Bill. Now, Bill started in any other day. Do you remember when you started? I said, Rick, it was like 1972. I don't know. But by God, he bore down and finally figured it out. That's dedication to go back that far. Now it's time for the Harold Keene Award. Back in the day, it's given to the journalist who has gone above and beyond for the sake of truthfulness, fairness, and truth-telling. Back in the day, Harold Keene was unquestionably the dean of San Diego journalism. He came to San Diego in 1936 as a reporter for a newspaper called the San Diego Sun. He later reported for the San Diego Union, served as contributing editor of San Diego Magazine, and was an editorial director and a terrific reporter at KFME TV. This year's recipient of the Harold Keene Award is Andrew Klesky. His colleague Matt Hall, the editorial and opinion director at the San Diego Union Tribune, nominated him, and he will introduce Andrew. Matt?
Thank you, Hal. Before I introduce Andrew, I just want to say at this time of journalism, I would be remiss in my duties if I didn't address this many people at a time when the industry is under attack to say, you all can do 3 things to make this a better industry, and tell your readers to do the same, tell your listeners to do the same, tell your viewers to do the same. Demand accountability, defend the truth, fund quality reporting. Give it up to yourselves if you do 1 or 3 of those things. Because the reality is freedom of the press isn't free, journalism costs money, and less journalism costs society more. For the few of you who don't know Andrew Klesky, segue, he's a former San Diego Press Club president, the longtime treasurer of the San Diego chapter of the Society of Professional Journalists, and as the San Diego Union Tribune's Reader Outreach editor, a member of the editorial board that I oversee. Every day, his job requires him to go, quote, above and beyond standard practices for the sake of fairness and truth-telling, which coincidentally is the criteria for the Harold Keene Award. Andrew is living proof that cries of fake news and lamestream media are fake and lame. Give it up for him. He reads dozens of letters a day for accuracy and fairness. Too far, he emailed me just last week along with a letter to the editor in one example of how high his standards are. It was a no-brainer for me to nominate him for this prestigious award this particular year, one of the most divisive in modern American history. Andrew deserves it. He created the first internet journalism course at UC San Diego's School of Communication, where he still teaches. He was editor-in-chief of the San Diego Daily Transcript. He was online editor for the North County Times. And he has worked for nearly a decade at the Union Tribune, where we are all tasked with saving the paper from the sad fate of the San Diego Daily Transcript and the North County Times. Seriously though, he's tasked with and skilled at sharing a representative sample of the many letters we get, including some that are critical of the editorial board and some that are very critical of his boss, some of which you've seen on his boss's Facebook page. In his spare time, Andrew is a craft beer connoisseur, a dedicated family man, and a great Facebook friend, even quicker with a like than he is with status update material. He's actually such a professional that he just told me that after he gives his speech, if you still don't think he's worthy of the Harold Keene Award, you should totally email him at letters@sduniontribune.com. He actually didn't tell me that. It's a pleasure to work with someone who takes his job, all of our jobs, and journalism as seriously as he does. Thank you, you guys. Give it up for him, Andrew Klesky.
But enough about me. I don't know if you guys remember, quite some time ago, the Press Club used to do a gridiron review, Follies, with dancing and singing. And back in 1998, my editor asked me if I would be in this show called Typecast News. This was 1988. And apparently they needed somebody young enough and short enough to play a newsboy who would run up on stage and say, extra, extra, read all about it. Well, apparently now I'm a lot older and probably even a little shorter. But I brought the program in if anybody wants to see it. I have no speech. I'm incredibly honored to receive this award. I want to thank Matt for nominating me. I want to thank my family, my wife and my kids.
kids for allowing me to pursue this career. And I want to thank the previous winners of the Harold Keene Award. If you look at that list, there's such impressive names on that list, you can't help but be humbled being there, and I appreciate their support. Some of the people on that list have awards named after them at the Society of Professional Journalists. As Matt mentioned, I still teach at UCSD, and I tell my students the same thing my professors told me when I was coming up in J school. This is a hard, thankless, grinding job, takes a lot out of you. But if it's your calling, it's kind of the only thing you can do. And I appreciate those of you who continue to do it. And while I accept this award tonight, humbly, tomorrow I hope to continue to go back out and continue doing it. So thank you very much.
Congratulations, Andrew. I had meant to say this, but I just seeing Bob Gardner taking pictures tonight. I reminded Bob tonight of years ago, he gave the best acceptance speech I've ever heard. He won an Emmy Award for editing, Spark. And he got up and he said simply, there were only 4 edits in this spot. I guess I got them in the right order. Couldn't ever forget that speech. It's a classic. Up next, we have the award for Best of Show in Television Online Video. It goes to 75 years later, Keeping Pearl Harbor Memories Alive by Luis Cruz, Howard Lippman, Peter Rowe, Lauren Flynn, and John Wilkins from the San Diego Union Tribune. This year's Best of Show website entry goes to San Diego Food Stuff, Karen Golden. By the way, you're invited to my house anytime to make chicken broth, if you'd like. Anytime, great. Now, once in a great while, in fact, just 4 times in the club's 45-year history, in fact, the board of directors becomes aware of someone who they want to honor, but who doesn't fit into the existing awards, like the Harold Keene Award or the Andy Mace Award. So, the San Diego Press Club Directors Award was born, and this year, it goes to the mighty fishmonger himself, Tommy Gomes from Catalina Offshore Products. The directors appreciate Tommy's steadfast support of the San Diego Press Club, having been an honored part of the awards evenings and many other events, such as the 40th anniversary kickoff party since 2010. Even more than that, the directors recognize his support of local food writers and journalists. Many a writing career has succeeded with his help and his guidance. The directors also recognize the good work Tommy's doing with Kitchens for Good and applaud him for taking up this great cause among many he supports. And here to introduce him is this video. Well, they all know a lot about food, you know? Tommy, can you come on up and join us and accept your award?
So Nicole Larson, thank you. Carrie. Hold on, I can do this. So on behalf of Catalina Offshore, over there. Somebody told me that I was getting this, and I was like, it was like that video. I'm like, what? I'm just a guy that sells fish, you know, and we try and get the word out about the plight of the American fishermen and what's going on our shores with the influx of foreign seafood. Know your source, trust your source, and ask questions when it comes to your food. It's not the same. I'm the first generation of a TV dinner, and our food has changed dramatically. If you know my story, you know my passion, and passion is one of the things that you can't teach. Unfortunately, you can ask my boss over there, the founder and president of Catalina Offshore. Passion also gets me in a lot of trouble sometimes. Keiko, you've been with me from the beginning. Rebecca, thank you for everything. And yeah, I gotta go before I lose it.
Wow, great introduction, great speech, huh? And now it's time for the Best of Show in Non-Daily Newspaper Award. It goes to Special Report Downtown by Brad Graves, Lou Hirsch, and John Cox from the San Diego Business Journal. The judges said, exhaustively researched and thoroughly told story about a downtown that seems to be perpetually in transition. Great job selecting the many voices to tell the story. For Best of Show in the radio podcast category, the winner is The Untold Story Behind the Sweetwater School Scandal by Ashley McClellan from voiceofsandiego.org. The judges said, excellent forensic breakdown of an almost unbelievable crisis and scandal. Interviews with parents, grandparents, and community members bring lessons to anyone who is a witness to wrongdoing. Well, the celebration's almost over, but the good news, we have a parting gift for you. You can take home your wine glass as a souvenir for the evening. I thought that would get the biggest applause of the night. But you can't take home any of the wine. Biggest boo of the night, okay. Don't forget your other souvenirs, your plaques and certificates, by the way. They are on the tables in the reception area. Pick them up on your way out, don't leave them behind. We are down to our last two awards of the night. The past few years, we've given a wild card award for coverage of a topic, no matter what medium. That means television stories were judged next to newspaper and radio and website and magazine stories. Some of the past wild card topics have included election coverage, the environment, the drought, and the state of the media. This year's topic, impact reporting, which is investigative enterprise or public service community advocacy reporting that has resulted in a demonstrable, measurable effect or result. It's the story you dug for that created the real impact. The wildcard winner is how Agent Orange is still devastating San Diegans. San Diego vets are still suffering from the toxic herbicide and struggling to get benefits from the VA by Jamie Reno in San Diego Magazine.
Make my day. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. This is a total surprise. I'm very proud that I cover veterans. I've been doing this for 25 years, 20 with Newsweek, and I've worked a lot with people with PTSD, and I've written many stories about how difficult it's been for our veterans to get their disability. And this is a story that I wrote for San Diego Magazine. Very proudly, it's about Agent Orange and how its impact is continuing, 2-3 generations after the war. People are still suffering. And I guess they gave me this award because I've been told by the attorney and by people at the VA off the record that the story I wrote resulted in a gentleman from San Diego getting his disability benefits, which he hadn't been able to get for several years. He was being basically ignored by the VA. And sadly, the VA does that far too often. But I'm just really proud to have been, I'm not supposed to call myself an advocate because I'm a journalist, but screw it. I'm proud to be an advocate for our veterans. Thank you.
Story made a difference. That's what we all want to do. By the way, if any of you can offer a discount on a storage shed, Jamie needs one to house his Press Club awards. He's running out of space in his home. And here's the final award. It's a new one called Rising Star, which recognizes a member of the San Diego Press Club who is an emerging leader in journalism or public relations with fewer than 5 years' experience. The recipient's track record reflects a strong potential for reaching the highest level of the profession. The winner of the Rising Star Award is Tom Jones, consumer investigative producer at NBC7 San Diego. Here to introduce him is Bob Hansen, also known as Consumer Bob.
All right, glad you're all still here. It's not unusual for Tom Jones to get razzed about his name. I hear him on the phone nearly every day explaining how he decided to get out of the singing business and find another line of work. But with a name that harkens back to a 60s pop singer, this Tom Jones, this millennial version, is a hit maker in his own right. He is an old soul with a youthful, hardworking, inquisitive body. He is a rising star in a profession that can leave you in a black hole. He started at NBC7 on the assignment desk. I would argue that's the worst job in television. But he thrived, leaving no stone unturned, researching, investigating, actually looking for more to do. In a limited time, he has grown from an exceptional employee to an outstanding investigative journalist. When NBC offered us the opportunity to create a troubleshooting unit, a response team, Tom was the obvious choice to produce the segment. With a new challenge, Tom developed additional skills and storytelling techniques. He writes, he edits, he creates graphics, he mines and analyzes data, which these days you gotta do. All the while keeping a phone to his ears, he paces the newsroom, resolving simple and complicated consumer problems. When he's not driving the response bus, he's hitching a ride with the I-Team, helping them in their Emmy Award-winning investigations. Often there is a line in the newsroom of people wanting to get a story, to get ideas about a story, research advice from Tom. But Tom doesn't seem to mind. He is a people person dressed as a hipster. Someone who shows kindness and patience for everyone, both friend and foe. I was just talking with a journalist from another station about the state of young reporters. He was saying he didn't have much hope for this new generation. I told him he hasn't met Tom Jones. Now you know him a bit better, and you will hear more about this rising star in the future.
Congratulate all the winners. Give everybody a round of applause. Keep up the great work so you can come back and win again next year. It's been a great night. Seeing you all again. Thanks for coming. Drive safely. Good night.